I don't know, man. I'm starting to wonder sometimes if it's a fake one. It's not fake. It's just that the schools don't exist and don't give me much credibility. Anyway, you heard Dr. John Fleming is our state treasurer. We're going to visit with him, but I do want to thank John and Guarantee Broadcasting for putting up with us. First of all, John Fleming, state treasurer. John, good to see you.
Hey, Moon, great to be here.
You know, it's funny, and I'm not going to talk to you much about Treasury stuff today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the United States Senate race.
Right.
We went to this thing called closed primaries.
Right.
I don't think people understand something, and this goes for me too.
Right.
We don't know how quick this is coming.
Right.
This is 10 months away.
Yes.
We're going to be voting in a closed primary.
Yes.
And so people are going to look up next spring and go, huh, we got elections? What is this? So you have a big change. You guys got to get out there and tell people a little bit more about it, too.
Right. Yeah, last year the legislature passed.
Okay, hold on just a second, John. Go ahead, try it now, John.
Testing. Can you hear me?
You're good. You're good now. Thank you. Thank you, John.
So last year the legislature passed into law closed primaries for congressional races and some others. And, normally, even when we've had closed primaries, they were always in the fall. But for the first time in my memory, this is going to be in the spring of next year, April. And then the runoff will be in May in the general against the Democrat, which maybe John Bel Edwards will be in November.
I hope that happens. But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So the rhythm here is totally different than we've ever seen. And you're absolutely right. People are going to wake up one day and go, what? We have a U.S. Senate race that we've got to vote on today?
And I want people to understand something, too, because you said something, but I want to add a little bit to it. It is the Senate, but it also is the House.
It is.
In other words, you got closed primaries in the House.
Right.
Now, whether somebody runs against some of the solid incumbents is one thing, but it's not just going to be the Senate race. It's also, there's the Bessie, but I don't think any Bessie board members, and there's a Public Service Commission. I don't know if any of them.
Right.
But it's for Congress in general.
Yes.
And I want people to understand that because it may be for their House members.
That is true. And, if this map gets struck down by the Supreme Court, Baton Rouge may be an open question as to what district it's going to be in and who you're going to be voting for next April.
Yeah. By the way, we're waiting on a Supreme Court decision. It will be this week, dealing with the Cleo Fields district.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is if it's not by Thursday, it's got to be by Monday because it's the last day.
Yeah.
They looked at this as a minor release of all the stuff they released, but it's not minor to us.
Right. Well, that they always leave the biggest to the last. So they know this is going to have a tremendous impact going forward for Louisiana and for the whole nation.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see how we're going to react to it because my so-called experts tell me you don't want the legislature to go back in special session and redraw because it's going right back to Judge Dick. It's going to be delayed, and Cleo Fields can run again next year. We don't have enough time. All that stuff's going to start coming back.
Yes.
So you're going to basically have to get somewhere another way to draw it.
Right.
I do not want the governor to call a special session to draw this district because if it does, that means Cleo Fields is going to stick around for 2 more years.
That's right.
3 more years, really.
Yeah, the governor is totally, behind Cleo Fields.
Yep.
He helped Cleo get this, and Cleo, of course, helped him get elected. We all know that now. We wondered on election night why Democrats didn't show up. Well, we figured that out when this new map came into place. So anyway, you're right. The most dangerous time, they say, is when a legislative body is in session. And I'm like you. I fear them going back in session on this. We don't know what we'll come out with.
You can't do it or you're going to keep Cleo.
Yeah.
Okay, and I didn't want to get you into the politics, but the fact of the matter is you live here, you vote here too, and nobody I never seen so many Republicans say it was the worst vote they ever made in their life, and they were lied to. I mean, this is what Republicans have told me, but their name's all over the Cleo Fields there. So if he gets to finish this term, which he will, and gets to running another one because we don't do anything, that's all on the Republicans. And that's what burns my rear end about some of our Republicans.
Absolutely. This legislature, in that respect, got more done for the Democrat Party than a Democrat Party
Edwards
majority.
would have never got this done.
No, it would not have happened.
No. Matter of fact, they did redistricting.
Right.
They did redistricting when Edwards was there, and we had a district that was tweaked.
Right.
And it was perfect. All we had to do was fight for that district.
Right.
When Judge Dick said you need to draw another one, that didn't come from the Supreme Court.
Right.
All you had to do is say, Judge, we got our district. She said, I'm going to redraw it. They would have redrew it. They would have sent the Fifth Circuit. They would throw it out. They would have went to the Supreme Court, and they could have still argued we don't have enough time, or we would have the district that we had before that. But once the governor signs his name, all those districts go away. Yeah. That's what bothers me. I think Cleo was there for 3 terms. So Cleo can slide into the retirement system if he can hang in for 2 terms. I may be wrong on that. Is it 10 years or 8 years?
No, it's 5 years for members of Congress. No, any other government employee, it's 10 years.
Well, then I think this puts him over his 5 because I know he had a term or 2. Right. Didn't he have 2 terms or 1?
I don't recall. Okay, That's so long ago.
That'd be about right. He had 1 term, 2 years, and then we come in and save him and give him a nice retirement because he gets to hang around for 2 more terms. Oh, my God. That sounds like Louisiana politics. John Fleming, my special guy. All right, John, so how the campaign's going? It's anybody but Cassidy. It doesn't matter if you like Cassidy or not. That's a fact. When you close the Republican primary, I don't care what polls I've seen some polls that are really bad for him. But what are people telling you?
Look, I announced December 4th of last year. This is 6 months now, and it's going fantastically well. I lead him in the polls, and he's upside down in the polls. His unfavorables are higher than his favorables. An incumbent can never win re-election in that situation. We have 2,400 and growing daily yard signs out. We're about to put 100 big signs up and then follow with a lot more. We've been raising money. I put $2 million of my own money in this race, so I'm competitive or leading in every category against Bill Cassidy. And I like to tell people that nothing is said nice about him on my social media, but if you look at his social media, it's much worse.
I've seen that myself.
So it's going, and now we're in a new phase. I'm doing national TV spots, that is hits, interviews, and that sort of thing. My background, of course, is extensive, both in business, medicine, and in Washington. During this attack on Iran, of course, I've served in the military myself. Yep. It's been 8 years on the House Armed Services Committee. So people are very interested in what I have to say about that. And Trump is doing exactly the right thing. When I was in Congress, Obama's the one that did the JCPOA, the Iran deal, which was crazy.
By the way, I'm glad you brought that up because I don't think people understand enough. The credit for Iran building up goes to Barack Obama directly.
Yes.
And did he really drop $400 million of cash?
Yes.
Okay, so he helped build up a regime that's satanic on a good day.
Exactly. And much of that money was used for terrorism. So it actually killed innocent people. And Barack Obama has blood on his hands. The whole thing was crazy. Supposedly IAEA was supposed to be monitoring these nuclear sites, but the military sites were off limits. And where do you think most of the stuff went on? In the military sites that were not being monitored. And they were not being inspected by humans. They just had cameras there, which means all you got to do is do something behind the camera. So the whole thing was nutty, and we knew it was going to have to come to this. And President Trump vowed 10 years ago that they should never have a nuclear weapon, and so did Netanyahu. And the time came; they were about to have one, and we did the right thing. And I think the world owes us an apology. And a big thank you for getting
Well, what about the Democrats? What about the Democrats' response? You ever notice Chuck Schumer and all these guys, they run up massive debt, but they always seem to be with the thug part of the radical, nutted up left side of the world on everything. And they own it on this one, too.
They are. And it's just, it's amazing. Well, maybe we should help them rebuild these sites. You know, I mean, their attitude is we should have never done this. Well, what did they want? This country, Iran, their government, not the people, because the people love Americans. This government vowed every day, every single day, they vowed that they were going to wipe Israel off the map and they were going to kill great Satan, which is America. Why wouldn't we do that? Just think if we could have killed Hitler back in 1933 or 1935, we wouldn't have had World War II.
True. By the way, when you look at Iran and war, President Trump doesn't want to go to war. He doesn't.
No.
And by the way, we've been dropping bombs in the Middle East since I've been born.
Right.
We have. Strategic bombing. So most people, and I'll let you answer this real quick, they worry about the cells that could be in the United States of America. You know, we had 4 years of open borders. You can't make me believe China, Iran, and everybody else that hate us didn't put some people in here to hurt us.
Oh.
Is that a concern? And should it be a concern?
It is, and a lot of those people are still here, and that's the reason why ICE needs to go out and pay a visit to them and remove them. Anybody who's a danger to our nation, who is a foreigner, should be considered and should be removed if there's any evidence found that they intend to harm Americans.
Yeah. By the way, remove them means put them in jail or send them out of here. If you send them out of here, how do you keep them out of here?
Well,
see what I'm saying? I've always wondered when we say we send in some rogue thugs, really satanic type people out of here, how do you stop them from coming back in? I mean, you can always sneak people in the country, I guess.
Oh, that's very true. But at least we have the sort of authorities now that can do that, that will do that under this president. The problem is, what about 4 years from now? Will that president do the same as Donald Trump? Well, we can only hope so.
Yeah. Let's take a break. 844-766-6607 is the number if you'd like to be part of the program. It is the Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline. We'll take a break. His name is John Fleming. He is our state treasurer, but he's also running for the United States Senate right here in the great state of Louisiana. We'll take a break. Be right back. Come back and have like a 6 minutes. Okay. Anything in particular you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's talk about carbon capture. I'd love to talk about that.
I just can't believe they call it economic development. Taking something, sticking it in the ground, making it dangerous. Because carbon is not dangerous.
Right.
But it's dangerous when you put it in the ground, liquefy and put it in the ground and store it. Now it becomes dangerous. Well, it's miles down there. What does it produce? Right. You know, none of them can say we can produce. You know what? No. Even all my friends in the oil and gas industry go, well, Moon, it's just an economic issue for us. The other issue that came because Jeff called me one day and said, man, I got to tell you about this carbon capture. I said, yeah, tell me, Jeff. He just said, man, if you were building a car and people wanted pink polka dots and you would build it with pink polka dots. All we're doing is these companies can't do business outside the country, which is not true, if they don't have a carbon footprint.
Right.
So that's all this is, carbon footprint so they can say, Jeff, that's the stupidest thing ever.
No.
We set the tone. They don't set it.
Oh, absolutely.
The United States sets the tone, not them.
Right. Well, China builds a new coal plant every week, one every week. So we can never sequester enough carbon to offset what they're doing. And also, if it gets in your water supply, it turns into carbonic acid, which then begins to dissolve the rock formation, and then lead and things leak into the water supply. So it's dangerous.
And they're saying, oh, it's not dangerous. That's what Tommy Fox said. But Tommy, that's your opinion.
Yeah, right.
I said, Mike Moncon went, well, Moon, they put carbon in cold drinks. I said, well, you're going to put this stuff you're putting down there. Why don't we make cold drinks with it?
Yeah, right.
So that ain't what I mean. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, right.
I fought him. I got Steve Malloy in the last 30 minutes. Very articulate. He did some stuff for Trump and them last time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to get Trump and them to get rid of every carbon capture credit. The president has done some of that with a lot of it.
Right.
He doesn't want to. He's got oil and gas people around him. They gave him money.
Yeah.
His energy guys are carbon capture guys. So he's not done what I want.
Right. Yeah.
I'm very disappointed with him.
Sure.
I'm disappointed in him. But I'm disappointed. I know you can't do everything, but damn, if it's so good, shouldn't they do it without money coming to the federal?
Well, of course.
Max the president. I've been doing this 32 years in office. And if I told you today that I got a grant from the federal government of $100,000 for 32 years, which is $3.2 million, would you look at me like, what the hell? All this crap you talking about, you taking money too.
Yeah, of course.
But if I took it, most people go, I don't blame
right.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I did what I'm telling you, I'd be kind of a wealthy guy.
Right.
I could walk away from this today.
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't do that. I'm just saying, but if you say, well, that's different. No, it ain't. They're getting free money. It doesn't produce anything.
Right.
You can say I don't produce anything, but I do produce revenue.
And ultimately,
it's
right. And ultimately, it's taxpayer money. Yeah. It's not like you're a consumer buying something and getting something in return.
You walk out of this no better than anybody else. And you would be right.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
But I would be like everybody else. I wouldn't care. I got my money.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do.
That's right.
But the government's, the attitude here in the state has always been, and I hate it. Mm. Well, the federal government's going to give it to somebody. Why not take it?
Right.
That's not the right attitude.
Right.
Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it is all about the money. It's about the money for individuals who benefit, which is the minority of people in the community. I mean, the community has to live with this, but only a handful.
The guy's place you took John from, he said over here at a Christian deal with Family Farm and Gene Mills. I was over there.
Right.
I know in this building it's about faith in God, country doing the right thing. See, they fake out. It's about money over there.
No, totally.
What you talking about?
No.
Space? It's money.
Right.
Think about the federal government.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, it is totally about the money, but it's only a few people benefit.
I wonder if Schroeder's looking at the governor's race. All of a sudden, I'm hearing back from him. I've heard from him
really?
14 times.
Yeah, really? Okay.
And I'm just telling you, there's something in the water. Hi, hello, welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show on the road, beautiful Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline, conjunction with our good friends at Talk 107.3 FM Guarantee Broadcast. And John Fleming, our state treasurer, I could call him state treasurer John Fleming, but I just got John Fleming, state treasurer. He's also running for United States Senate race, which you will be voting next April, May?
Yes.
Okay. One of the big hot items is in Louisiana, but it's been around the country, is this stupidity. I call it stupidity, carbon capture.
Right.
I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. It produces nothing, absolutely nothing. Yet, there's so many hundreds of billions of dollars, everybody's jumping, and our states jumped on it, too, as being economic development.
Yes.
And it's not. Just your thoughts on that one subject.
Well, look, I'm a physician, and it matters to me the health of the people of Louisiana, people of this country. So you've heard a lot discussed about MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. You've got the Capitol full of politicians over there that claim they're passing bills that are MAHA. But it's the same group that has blocked everything that would slow down or block bringing in carbon capture into this state. And look, here's the science of that. The way carbon capture is done, it's basically the CO2 is taken out of the byproducts of processing oil and gas, and then it's in a semi-liquid, semi-gas form. They push it deep down into the earth where there's all the cracks and crevices, and if it ever gets into any water or water supply, an aquifer or whatever, it turns into carbonic acid. And what's wrong with that? Well, number one, it's
by the way, that don't sound like that tastes good.
No, it lowers the pH. But here's the worst thing. It will actually interact with the rock formation and leach into your water supply lead and other dangerous metals. And this will be there for thousands of years. Our offspring will have to deal with this. And who pays for it? It's the taxpayers. This is not something consumers purchase because it's a benefit. So ultimately, the only people who benefit from this are the politicians who are paid somewhat by certain companies, wealthy people, and that's it. Everybody else has to deal with the negative outcomes of this. So I'm totally against carbon capture. I'm against using eminent domain to take people's land against their rights. And I'm the only statewide elected official, and really among the very few in that entire Capitol, including our legislature, who feels this way and has taken this position.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that we've gone so deep into something that's a zero.
Yes.
What does it produce? Nothing.
Nothing.
What does it produce for the world? Nothing. And if you think we're saving the planets, what did you say about China?
Well, China builds a coal-fired plant every week. Wow. So no matter how much we sequester carbon dioxide, we can't keep up with other countries like India and China that's producing more every day. If we really believe that there needs to be less CO2 in the atmosphere, then we need to move to other forms of energy, such as nuclear energy, which is very safe now through our current technology and does not mess with our environment. But this is an insane idea, and you're right. No one benefits except for the few people who get money, taxpayer money, for this. And by the way, Senator Cassidy was all for this. Yeah. It was in the infrastructure bill, which he highly touts. Virtually every member of the legislature here in Louisiana has voted for this in one way or another. This is a catastrophe for Louisiana because these companies are spreading throughout central Louisiana and along the coastline, ready to drill these.
I wonder why they don't do this. If it's so good, why don't they just say to taxpayers' dollars, we don't want your money. This is good. We're going to produce something. And
Right.
they never did this because it wasn't all this free money running around.
Right.
All right. Got about a minute left. What do you tell the voters? Why should they vote for John Fleming for United States Senate?
Yes. So my background, of course, is a physician, a business creator, business owner, military veteran, and also served in the House of Representatives in Washington for 8 years. I'm one of the founders of the House Freedom Caucus. I worked for Trump in 3 different positions in his first administration, the entire 4 years, culminating in being his deputy chief of staff, senior advisor to him. I've endorsed him for both of his elections. He endorsed me for the treasurer election. And anybody who claims to be MAGA, they're just now following the trends. I was there at the origins of MAGA, and I want to continue the important work that President Trump is doing by serving with him as your next United States Senator. And as you know, Bill Cassidy, who currently holds that position, voted to convict Trump in the second impeachment trial, among many other things that really puts him kind of in the left wing with Chuck.
By the way, it went on TV, on every liberal radio station, TV station, and dogged Trump out for 4 years.
Right.
Dogged him out.
Yes.
Shouldn't be running. Shouldn't even be involved. And he also told us, wait till y'all see what I saw, what I know when he can try to convict him.
Right.
We ain't seen one thing.
We haven't seen
Not
anything.
one thing out of his mouth.
No, and he's never apologized or admitted he was wrong.
Well, he's not going to do that. John Fleming, good luck to you.
Thanks so much,
All
man.
right, we'll take a break. Alan Seaball, Senator Seaball, insurance, all that when we get back. All right, brother.
All right, thank you so much, my friend. Yeah.
Go ahead, you can come.
Yeah.
I know y'all go, I wonder why Moon don't call like everybody else 2 or 3 days in a week before, because it's only Moon. Hey, young lady, how you doing, baby? It's Moon. I ain't got nobody doing it. I mean, literally, there's nobody selling ours. I mean, I got some people every now and then make a sale, but I got to sell it, I got to produce it. So a lot of people, I tell people, they go, Moon will call you the day of. I said, you damn right I will. I said, I'm not sitting there all night worried about who I got on the next day. I drove to Baton Rouge this morning with no guests. I got 4 guests to eat the whole show. Yeah, there you go. Nobody told me no. Yeah. Well, anytime you want me on, just let in. But you're going to have to push it. Out to you. Yeah, if you don't, you're going to probably get behind. Because I know Blake probably will, but he has. She might have went up to the sports group. Share the love, brother. Share the love. I always do. Dino's comes by. Dino's comes by to the studio and brings something about 6-7 minutes every Friday. Been doing. He pays for it, so I let him come on by and he talks and he does statewide. It's all good. They come by usually once a week. Sometimes I'll push him if I'm gone. Man, look, I fished the tournament. It's down now. See them 2 holes? I put a hook in my finger, put a fish jumping. I was going, he's jumping, just flopping. So I tried to grab his mouth. The other hook caught me here. I'm going, this ain't good. I finally got that one off. And I said, okay, stop. First thing we need to do, because I had the hook in my finger with the other hook with the fish on it. With the fish on it. All the way to form and everything. So I got it like that. So okay, the first thing I need to do is get the freaking fish off my finger. The crankbait's in my finger. So I got it. I got it down. I kind of put my foot on him. And I got it off. Put him in a live well. I'm fixing the tournament. Yeah, but when I saw that hook, my first thought was this tournament's over. I was 20 minutes probably from the emergency room. I said, I'm going now. If they'd have got it out, I'd have wrapped it up and kept fishing. They'd have got it out. But what happens is they show you how to do it. You can't pull up because of the barb, but you get somebody to come over here and yank it that way, it'll pull that barb out. Yeah. The barb's in the meat. Yeah. That thing was so strong. But it never hurt. And right now, look, not even tender.
Really?
Hey, Walker, is Alan there? Wow. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that's wild.
I need, what was I going to tell you? That wasn't fun.
No, and it's funny.
My suggestion is don't try that.
Yeah, we had a doctor on Monday. We do medical Mondays, and she said that. That's one of the number one.
She said?
Fish hooks. Removing fish hooks from the ER.
She said, do it? Yeah, it can't take them long.
Yeah.
They probably deaden it and pull the sucker out. The other thing would
have a lot of people are like you and want to pull. They're like, oh, I'll just pull it out. Well, a lot of people probably get it like that. Like, all right, I got to go.
Well, I got news for you. I pulled and pushed and pulled, and when I pulled hard, it didn't. And I finally just twisted. That barb just released that meat.
Yeah.
And I got a tetanus shot about 5 years ago, so I'm still good there.
Yeah. Man, that's wild.
All right, here we go. Hi, hello, welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. Thanks for being part of the program. We are on the road. Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline. Always, you can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Talk 107.3 FM. We are here in this studio in Baton Rouge. Honor to have, and I always like saying, Senator Alan Seaball. Senator Seaball joins us. Senator Seaball, how you doing? I'm doing fine. I didn't tell everybody. I stuck a hook in my finger and my thumb this weekend. And when I tell you the barb and everything was down in there, and the fish was still on the crankbait on the other end jumping. And that, by the way, Alan, I don't think anything was fun about doing that, by the way. Not one thing. Well, what ended up happening, I called my buddy, and he didn't answer the phone, so I sat there and pulled and played and pulled and twisted and pushed it down, and all of a sudden, all that pulling didn't do anything, and I turned and twisted, and when I barely moved it, it came right out. So my bride, being the bride that she is, Tanya, she had gave me a little medical kit to put in the boat, and antiseptic pads and all kind of stuff, and I doctored that sucker up and stopped the bleed and got a Band-Aid on it. And by the way, I kept the fish. He was mad at me, but I kept him. All right, Alan, so the important thing is I got to keep the fish. I didn't come in first. I came in second. But if I'd have lost that fish, it would have been good. Emergency room would have probably slowed me down a little bit too. But anyway, I'm humbled to have you. Listen, a couple of things we can go into on the insurance. I know there's some things that you think have passed that were good. They sure shot down a lot of bills too. But one of the ones that was shot down was 111. I want you to tell people you got it through the House, you got it through the Senate. The governor vetoed it. Tell people what the bill was going to do, and why was it vetoed? I mean, that was the next question. Wow. Wow. Yeah, no, and and I heard you say that they never tried to. The governor never said anything bad about it. The whole process, which would have been made better for him, because it made him look like, well, you said one thing and did something else, and he could have stopped it at any time. And yet, you got enough votes in the House and the Senate to move it on. I know that's got to be frustrating. It's frustrating for me to watch stuff like that as well. Mm-hmm. Wow. God have mercy. Oh my God. But Alan, let me go ahead. One of the things that concern me is if you can't understand what the governor vetoed it for, and this has been a week or two since the session, what do you do now? I mean, that's good, guys. What do you do now, Alan? I mean, you can't understand why you got it vetoed, and what the hell was it vetoed for? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the veto message. He vetoed it because you voted against House Bill 148. And if that is true, I don't know that that's true. The governor didn't tell me that. I don't know that that's true. But if that is true, that's really not the way you're supposed to do business. You don't veto a good bill because somebody voted against another bill. That's I hope that's not true.
Yeah, that becomes kind of childish if that was the case, if that was vetoed because of that reason. But I think it's odd that the guy who authored the bill, who got the bill through the House and the Senate, Alan Seabaugh, can't figure out today why the bill was vetoed. And so it sounds more like what you just said. If there's no real reason to veto the bill, and it was a bill that he said he was for. This frustrates me to know, hey, Alan, let me do this. Alan Seabaugh, Senator Seabaugh, I'm a special guest. Let me take a break. I want to come back. I do want to ask you, do you really think what was done in the name of tort reform and insurance reform moves the needle? And I don't want to talk about no step in the right direction because that's nothing to me. I'm talking about really moves the needle. The governor says it ought to lower premiums 10%. That came out of his mouth, not mine. Just get your thoughts on that. His name is Alan Seabaugh, Senator Alan Seabaugh. By the way, Dr. Kate Brumley comes in the studio.
Wrap it up. 5 seconds.
At Service Chevrolet Cadillac, we're turning up the heat. Summer savings are in effect, and that means hot prices on top models. Take $10,000 off the MSRP on all new 2025 Silverado 1500s in stock. Plus, you can take $12,500 off the MSRP with trade assistance. That's $12,500 off all new 2025 Silverado 1500s in stock. Hurry and take advantage of big summer savings while they last. At Acadiana's #1 Chevrolet dealership, our family serving your family. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, your super Chevy dealer. 1212 Ambassador Caffrey near I-10. Stop by or log on at servicegm.com. Chevy, together let's drive. Dealer discount $5,500, GM rebate $4,250, trade assistance $2,250. In stock units plus tax, title, license, and fees. Trade assistance must be 2011 or newer. Excludes 6.2 and 3.0 engine and work truck package. Must finance through GMF, A+ or AL tier. $1,000 rebate. Offers expire 6/30/25. Claims based on current GM data.
Folks, you heard us talk about Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Ragin' Cajun delicious line of gumbo, black-eyed peas, shrimp and grits, jambalaya, seafood bisque, etouffee, red beans, roux, jalapenos. Ragin' Cajun's products are made right here in Acadiana now. Thanks to all of y'all, Ragin' Cajun is one of the fastest-growing brands in grocery stores. Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Forget the rest. Ask for the best. Ask them for that Ragin' Cajun. It's good, folks. Trust me. I love it. You will, too.
Oh, man. Y'all hear me brag about Shucks all the time in Abbeville, the great seafood, the fresh seafood off the boat every day. Shucks has done it again. Their new location, 1301 Bayou View Drive in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Shucks has come to Lake Charles, Louisiana, not too far down from the casinos. All the great seafood you've been having at Shucks in Abbeville is now in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Whether it be Shucks in Abbeville or Shucks in Lake Charles, you're going to get fresh seafood daily. Shucks, come check us out. You're going to love it.
Keeping your business running smoothly means you need a reliable partner who provides great help and service for you when you need it. That business is Whole Source. The Whole Source team is experienced, nationally certified, fast, efficient. Whether for oil and gas, pipelines, construction, marine, agriculture, trucking, and more, make sure you have the Whole Source experts on your team. Call 337-552-2085 or go to wholesourcellc.com. Whole Source, your one-stop whole shop.
Shreveport's Comic-Con is celebrating its 10th anniversary. GeeksCon 2025, presented by Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers, is back at the Shreveport Convention Center August 22nd through the 24th. This year's GeeksCon guest lineup includes a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 35th anniversary celebration with 4 of the original Turtle actors from the 1990 movie, along with the stars from My Name is Earl, Jason Lee, and Ethan Suplee. A charmed cast reunion with Rose McGowan and Holly Marie Combs, WWE Hall of Famer Scott Steiner, Disney's official voice of Mickey Mouse, Brett Iwan. Celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, star Barry Bostwick. Sons of Anarchy star Theo Rossi, along with comic book artists from Marvel, DC, and Image Comics. Find the complete lineup, get all your news updates, and ticket details at geekscon.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
That old, I never had that happen. Hold on,
Mike Sott.
Hi, hello, welcome back. Microphone Show in Baton Rouge in conjunction with Talk 107.3 FM Guarantee Broadcasting. Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline Senator. Still like saying that. Alan Seaball is my special. Alan, I know you smile and laugh every time I say it. I know you do. I can't even see it. I know you're laughing.
You're 100% right.
Hey, you like hearing it better than me, don't you?
I do. It was a hard-fought election, and you know there was it was a tough election. In fact, my wife and I we drove back from Destin yesterday, and we were talking about it on the way back. And you know, it was a little harder than it needed to be. Yeah. Because when you deal with people that don't tell the truth, sometimes you have to jump through some hoops you shouldn't have to jump through. Yeah. But I am glad to have come out the other side smiling.
Yeah, I did the same thing you did after the election. You went travel the world, and I was on a plane to Nashville to get away and have a good time. One of the things I wanted to ask you about was, what do you think? Did we do any good? Did we really do any good? I know there's some things you did good, but will it make a difference, and will we see a difference in 6 months to a year? So you answer.
6 months to a year, no. But did we do any good? Yes. The bills that passed this year were really the only real significant tort reform that we've passed since the late 90s when Mike Foster was governor. Okay. Everything that was done in between was lip service, that proverbial step in the right direction, which really wasn't. Yeah. This was the first thing that was significant since the late 90s. However, I don't think you're going to see an effect from it for several years. Because first of all, with 2-year prescription, you don't have to file suit until 2 years after a wreck. And then it takes a couple of years to get a case to trial. So the cases affected by the stuff that we passed this year aren't going to be in court until 3 years from now. So did we do good? Yes. Is it going to make a difference in the long term? Yes. Are you going to see the effect from it in the next 6 months to a year or even 2 years? I think the answer is no.
Yeah, but that is not good when you think about the process, and this is what I mean by it, Alan, is that people want to see a difference. So a year up the road, 2 years up the road, nobody's seen any difference. The prices still continue to skyrocket. With the trial lawyers, and I'm talking about the super-duper TV trial lawyers, say, see, still going up. That's what they're going to say, Alan. And if people don't feel in their pocketbooks, they're going to feel like y'all done nothing. And I'm just being blunt with you. I'm out in the real world. I know you are, too.
No, you're right. But you're right. Look, there's two ways to lower insurance. There's number one is to affect payout, which is what the bills passed this year did, where the insurance companies and defendants in settlement of cases and resolution of cases are very likely to pay out less in the future than they're paying out now because we limited some claims and we did some things. But the other way to lower insurance rates is to send a signal to the insurance industry that we are not a judicial hellhole, that we're moving in the right direction, that we're working to fix some things, and that you're not going to get sued into bankruptcy if you come do business in Louisiana. And that we did not do. Yeah. Because of House Bill 148, because of all the rhetoric surrounding the insurance industry during the session, we instead of giving them confidence that we're moving in the right direction, we frankly scared the daylights out of them.
Well, okay, let me ask you this way. Okay, you brought it up. I was going to ask it anyway. Is there a problem with 148 that 148 screwed everything up? I'm asking. It looks like to me 148, there is a chance it screwed up most of it.
And as long as Tim Temple is insurance commissioner, no. But I don't think Tim will abuse the authority. But somebody asked me the other day, what happens if Ryan Gaddy gets elected insurance commissioner?
Ooh.
Then the entire insurance industry in Louisiana collapses. If you elect a trial lawyer as insurance commissioner, then the entire insurance industry collapses. So as long as we have a reasonable, rational, responsible insurance commissioner, it's not going to be devastating. However, the insurance industry doesn't deal in the here and now. They deal in projections into the future. And it has been very, very apprehensive about doing business in Louisiana going forward. So that's the danger now, is that we did not make them comfortable. We made them and they were never comfortable in Louisiana, but the passage of 148 makes them considerably more uncomfortable going forward. You're talking about less investment in Louisiana. I've talked to 4 major insurers who, one of them actually reduced the number of lines that they write in Louisiana, but not significantly. But they've all talked about it. It's on the books. I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody that said they're pulling out of Louisiana, but they're looking at it very, very carefully. And that's potentially scary because our insurance market is expensive. And the way to lower it is to get more insurers coming into the state, not chasing them out. So, and we moved the needle on property last year. And we have many insurers not currently writing in Louisiana have filed paperwork trying to come in. We have other insurers have filed paperwork to expand the number of lines that they write, which will ultimately result in lower, considerably more affordable property insurance premiums going forward to a year or 2 years down the road. Auto, we did good. We did good on the one hand, but we didn't hit a home run.
Well, the thing that concerns me is that, the super duper TV trial lawyers, their goal is to beat Tim Temple up. They've already started it. So my gut feeling is if they're going to beat Temple up, they're going to come up with their own insurance commissioner. And that's what I see right now, because they've started the fireworks on him anyway. One of them already told me they call him Tiny Tim, and they just beating him up like a yard dog already. He had nothing to do with all his bad insurance rates, nothing at all. They have everything to do with it, or a lot to do with it, but yet they beat him up. He's been in office 18 months, and it's all his fault. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. But that's your TV trial lawyers. They got a lot of money. They'll beat you up with it, as you know. You know all about that.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. I mean, it is impossible to blame the current situation on Tim Temple in any way, shape, manner, or form. I mean, he's been in office a little over a year. So he certainly didn't cause or contribute to anything that anybody's having to deal with right now. But you're right. And I think the fears, that's why I brought it up. I do think their plan is to run a trial lawyer-friendly insurance commissioner candidate.
Wow.
In which case we might all be looking at beachfront property or moving to Texas.
By the way,
that's the scary part to me.
It won't be a step in the right direction. It'll be a gigantic leap in the wrong direction to do that. It's I know,
that's
Alan.
The scary part going forward.
Alan, I'm trying to listen and hang in there and have a little bit of hope with it, but I can know this. The bottom line is my rates and everybody's rates need to go down where people can feel it. In 2 years, you wonder if somebody don't say turn the lights out, party's over, and walk out. And if any of these insurance companies start really pulling out and really upset, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. And that's the part that bothers me.
Well, yeah, me too. I mean, it's the part that was disappointing. We actually had a chance to really move the needle, send a signal to the country that we're fixing things. You're not going to ever fix it all in 1 year.
Sure.
But we could send a signal that we're on the right path. We're moving in the right direction. We're going to fix it. We're not going to always be the judicial hellhole. And I think that was a swing and a miss. I don't think that we successfully conveyed that message to the insurance industry nationwide. And that's the disappointing thing, because we could have.
I don't look at it as a swing and a miss, because we didn't get a chance to swing. Look at all the bills that died before they ever got a vote. And there was so many more things, little things maybe, that could have helped. You needed to pass the whole dang package. and it didn't happen. And that's my concern. And we'll see. Without anything you want to add, I'll let you get out of here.
No, that's it. I mean, I appreciate your time. I wanted some time to pass after session ended before I came on your show and talked about it. I was kind of hoping the governor would call me and want to talk about it. I hadn't heard from him since midway through the session. And again, we used to be friends. I'm not quite sure what happened.
Well, I wish he would explain it to you so you can explain it to us.
Yeah.
All right. God bless you, Alan. Thank you so much. Tell your bride hi for me.
I will. Appreciate you. Take care.
When we get back, Dr. Cade Brumley, Gator Scholarships and more on education. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.
Well, actually, with Eagle Pest Control, let's talk about roaches. Ugh. You say they're in the trees? How'd they get in my house?
They'll fly.
Oh, no. Where else are they hiding out?
Mulch yard with a lot of leaves. They tend to get into their nest.
I can't stand roaches, and if you can't stand roaches, you need to call Eagle Pest Control. Glenn, what would you do?
Your best defense, again, is an application, liquid, and granule combined.
This is why you need a professional. This is why you need to call Eagle Pest Control. Eagle Pest Control and Chemical, where employees make the difference. Why not do business with a long-standing, local, and reputable team? Can't think of a reason? Well, then give them a call. The professionals at Eagle Pest Control have over 30 years of experience in a solution for ridding your property of any 4, 6, or 8-legged uninvited guest. From ants to termites, bedbugs to rodents, Eagle Pest Control can handle them all. Give them a call or schedule your free inspection online at eaglepestandchemical.com.
You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station.
The ceasefire appears to be holding. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After President Trump got upset, blaming Iran and Israel for violating the agreement right after it went into effect.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.
The president telling reporters before he took off for the NATO summit this morning that he was unhappy. Iran fired missiles, and then Israel vowed to bomb in retaliation.
And I'm going to see if I can stop it.
Well, then on Air Force One, he posted on Truth Social that Israel turned the planes around. An Iranian missile attack before the ceasefire hit a building in Beersheba, killing 4 Israelis. Meanwhile, Fox's Jennifer Griffin reports from the Pentagon.
The biggest problem now with the tenuous ceasefire is that the Iranians have given no guarantees that they won't go back to pursuing a nuclear bomb. There has been no agreement by the Iranian regime to return to negotiations and no indication they have given up their nuclear ambitions, despite the U.S. military having set its program back significantly this weekend.
Now, today in the afternoon, intelligence officials will give the House and then the Senate classified briefings on those U.S. airstrikes that hit Iran's nuclear facilities. Republican Senate Leader John Thune tells Fox.
What happened over the weekend was one of the reasons the American people voted for President Trump. It is peace through strength. What he did was historic. It should be viewed through that lens, and the Democrats are going to complain loudly, but they are just flat on the wrong side of history on this issue.
Now, some Democrats have suggested impeachment, claiming the president acted illegally, joining Israel's war without congressional authorization. At the House right now, the Federal Reserve Chairman just said at a hearing.
I told people
despite elevated uncertainty, the economy is in a solid position.
But Jerome Powell also just said there's still uncertainty about inflation and other effects of the Trump tariffs, so the Fed can continue to wait and see before cutting interest rates. Now, the president is demanding a big cut, again critical of Powell this morning, calling him very dumb and hard-headed. The first tropical storm of the Atlantic season has just formed, but Andrea, way out in the Atlantic, is forecast to move east away from the U.S. America's listening to Fox News.
The beach, so I go the other way.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did.
2 o'clock.
Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month.
Every morning
what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
You're great at protecting your personal information. You might even use things like two-factor authentication and strong passwords. But as much as you try to control how your info is protected, there are other places that also have it, and they may not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back.
Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
But I think working out, lifting, and
Ron,
walking.
are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
The new location of Billy's Boudin Cracklins in Opelousas is now open. Come visit us at the corner of I-49 and Highway 190 in Opelousas. Serving all your favorites, Boudin Cracklins, Boudin balls, and a wide variety of sausage, smoked and fresh. Come visit any of our locations for the best Boudin Cracklins, Boudin balls, roll-ups, and the best Cajun cuisine around. Billy's Boudin Cracklins, Krotz Springs, Scott, Point de Mouton, I-49, and the new location in Opelousas. Or visit Billy'sBoudin.com and have it shipped to you.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works in over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens. And it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Looking for a bold, conservative voice that cuts through the noise? Tune in to the Josh Guillory Show, where common sense meets current events. Every weekday from 3 to 5 p.m. Josh tackles the hot topics that matter most to you, from Louisiana politics to national headlines, with no spin and no apologies. It's real talk for real conservatives. Catch the Josh Guillory Show, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5, only on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
You don't need the mic. So, what you want to do, you don't have to. But I'm saying is your mic is going to be here. Don't worry about it.
Mike's hot.
Hi, hello, welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. We're on the road, beautiful Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 107.3. Our good friends at Talk 107.3, Guaranteed Broadcasting, right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. All right, Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline, 844-766-6607. Honored to have Dr. Kay Brumley, our Superintendent of Education. Good morning, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me, Moon. Always good to be with you.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. And, you know, we booked this thing, 2 weeks ago? Yeah. You know, I just had the conversation with Fleming. I said, and I was telling John, I said, 99% of my guests, or 95, people call me. And so I don't ever worry about guests. There's a few of y'all I'll reach out from time to time. And I said, and most of the time, it's going to be the day I need you.
Well, we're glad to do it. We're glad to be here.
Well, my producer does a great job. I said, but I handle all the mic stuff. So if I think about you Monday morning, I'll call you Monday morning.
We appreciate the advance warning.
No. Listen, I don't know why, so I'm going to have to let you explain it. Maybe you can. So we had all this change in education. We had all this movement, the numbers up. A lot of people, including myself, give you credit. I know it's not just you. It's a lot of people that go with it. Dr. Brumley, a lot of school teachers, to school boards, to Bessie, everything. Y'all have had to have people come and say, hey, we need to make an improvement. And we've done that. Part of it, though, I thought, was the Gator Works. Part of it, I thought, was getting some of these kids out of some of these bad schools. And yet, right when we're making the big move, we get part of that shut down. And I'm going to go to Cameron Henry because the senator, I don't want you to point it, but the senator made it kind of a big deal not to take money out of a budget. But I didn't, on the other hand, I didn't see the governor upset about it. So I'm trying to go, let me talk to Dr. Brumley, open in public. What's going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you're right, the way in which you began the conversation. Louisiana, from an educational standpoint, we are the story across the country. You know, if you talk to people about education across the country, they're going to mention Louisiana in that conversation. I give a ton of credit to teachers across the state. I've consistently done that. But I think we have a lot of stuff working in our favor right now. We have a governor that's supporting us. Generally, our legislature supports us. Our State Board of Education, Bessie, it's probably the best it's ever been.
It is. I've been watching this for a while. You got the best Bessie board we've ever had.
Yeah, they're solid, and they're working with us. So, you know, everybody's kind of rowing in the same direction. And so what you get is you get a story, which is in 2019, Louisiana's 49th in the country, and we're used to that. And now we're number 32nd in the country on the nation's report card. U.S. News and World Report came out about a month or so ago. Pre-K-12, number 37 in the country. So all of those numbers are trending in the right direction, and that's good. I think if you're talking specifically about legislative session, last year we had a really significant legislative session for education. It coincided with Governor Landry's Dream Big plan for education. So you had the Gator Scholarship announcement. You had our tutoring work. You had more money on market and merit pay for teachers. Just a lot of good stuff happened last legislative session. So for us this year, it was more about, you know, I told you at the very beginning of session, I met with you in the governor's press room, and I said, I feel like the Secretary of Defense this year, not the Secretary of Education, because so much good happened, we need to protect.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, by the way.
And so we did. I mean, I feel like, you know, we had a really solid session. As I told someone in the media yesterday, I mean, I find it regrettable that, unfortunately, the governor's full request for Gator of $93 million wasn't funded, so that will not expand Ed Choice in the way in which we hoped it would be expanded in the state of Louisiana. But what we're going to focus on as an agency is launching the program with the 6,000 plus kids that are eligible for the program, have a good, successful launch, try to build credibility with the program, and then maybe next year go back to the drawing board on the funding.
Okay, let's still stay there for a second, because what I'm hearing is that you had so many more kids, and I don't know if it's 20,000 or 40,000, you know numbers, I don't, that parents were disappointed because you had to go back and tell them, I know you applied, but we can't do it.
Yeah.
And that's the tough part, because parents are going, wow, I have an opportunity to move my kid out of a bad situation. How do you go back and tell these people we can't do it this year?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we opened applications on or by March 1st, and that's what the law called for us to do. We had to open applications by March 1st. And we received over 39,000 applications from families saying, hey, we want to be a part of this school choice movement.
So my 40,000 number was pretty close.
You're good.
Okay, pretty close.
You're good. Yeah, right at that number. So that tells us there's a demand for parents wanting to pick the school that makes the most sense, which we knew that existed. We understand competing realities around funding. And so we're going to this year with a $43 million allocation, which is similar to the previous voucher program. We'll fund 6,000 kids. These families, Moon, I'll tell you, are all lower income in terms of.
That's who y'all were trying to help.
They're all lower income, or they are students with disabilities.
Wow.
And so that's who these 6,000 kids will be in
Can
this
I
opening
stop
year.
You there?
Yeah.
You said 39,000. Were the other 33,000 about the same?
Yeah, I don't have the exact number, but I think it's about 85% of applicants were from lower income families.
Okay.
Yep.
God, but I'm not saying it sets you back. Let me be blunt. All the things you said about the positives, 100% on board with it. Not saying it. But it stops some progress that y'all could have made in helping kids get out of bad situations.
Yeah, it does.
So my question to you is, and y'all get to talk behind the scene, and maybe you can't tell me much, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What's the reason? What's the reason? And I can read in the paper, and I can say, and the Senate president seems to be against some stuff. What's the reasoning behind not keeping this thing moving forward?
Well, from what I heard, it was concerns about funding. And
they got money for everything else.
Yeah, and that's not something that I don't make the decision on funding, and I have to respect those.
I know you don't.
I will say it's regrettable that we did not receive more funding for school choice, because what I think school choice does, Moon, is it lifts all the boats. It prompts everyone to have to be stronger and better. And at the base case, making sure that families are making decisions for their kids is really important. I find it regrettable on funding. I don't know all the backstory of why. In politics, there are a lot of things that happen, and there are a lot of moving parts. And, it's just as you had with Senator last time, one thing will affect something else. So
the only reason I say that is when I look up, once again, your expertise is in education. So I know you can't just make up your funding formula. That's right. All done by the legislature. But it's amazing how we come up with, we're going to go get $1.6 billion more federal money for Medicaid. Well, some of these people you're talking about are Medicaid recipients anyway. Right. I'm sure a lot of them would like to get, the parents would like to see their kids have an education. So they're not on Medicaid. They're out there working in the real world and getting better insurance. So that's my frustration, because I see money shifted over here and over there. And if we go through the budget, we fund golf tournaments. We fund all these things. Now, Dr. Brumley, let me not get you in trouble either. You didn't say this. I am. We funded all these other things, and I'm going, but this is so important. This is all I ever hear. Education and infrastructure. Education and infrastructure. Well, let's fund it. Yeah. And you're talking about 33,000 more kids.
I think it's a really important point, Moon, to outline that these 39,000 kids overwhelmingly are from families without means to do something otherwise. So they may be trapped in a failing school.
But you're making a point that I made for 32 years on the mic. Let's do the important things. Let's quit funding things that we say are important. They're really not. To me, that's important.
Yeah.
We're trying to help poor people get up, move on, move forward. And I guarantee you there's not a parent out there, I don't care if they're black or white, and they're poor, and they're not living the life they would, and they're doing the best they can, that don't want their kids to have a better life than they had.
That's right.
Not one of them.
And that's why I think, too, like some of the attempts over the last few years to do away with merit has also been a mistake. We've tried to elevate expectations and merit because, as a dad, I tell my kids, go do your best today. If you're a parent, you're dropping your kid off at school or getting them on the bus, you're telling them, go do your best today. You want them to succeed. You want them to succeed. You want them to have objective measures of that. And so we're trying to bring back this idea that merit matters. Going back to the legislature real quick and funding, it's also important to note, I think, for your audience, that some of our efforts were funded. So our tutoring efforts, we've tried to take tutoring to scale to give kids a little extra help if they need it. We receive funding for that. Our differentiated compensation for teachers, which is like market responsive pay for chemistry teachers or math teachers, or merit pay. We receive money for that third straight year. So the other piece was, they decided to fund teacher stipends while they wait on this amendment. Yep. I actually think, I don't want to get into a CA2 discussion,
sure.
But one part of CA2 that did make sense was the education piece, because they were going to take some funds that were already available and pay off about a quarter of pension debt, legacy pension debt, and then allow systems to use those savings to give teachers a raise. I think that part was smart. And I think moving forward, the way in which they've isolated that specific issue for the voters to consider, I think was a smart move.
Yeah, the package got real big last time, and it looked like they were trying to help teachers in education and these local governments. It didn't work out.
No,
and that got involved with a lot of politics. Yeah. So to me and you ain't going to talk about, but it just did.
Well, there was too much in there. So, people would ask me about it. I said, I support this concept. I think it's good. I think it's smart government to take these funds that you have, pay off legacy retirement pension debt, and then utilize those savings that you realize to give teachers a pay raise. To me, that's smart government, and it rewards our teachers. Yeah. All the rest of that, I'm not sure what was happening with that, but that part was smart.
Yeah, but like you said, it was really big. Yeah. His name is Dr. Cade Brumley. He's the education superintendent of Louisiana. We're going to take a break, come back and wrap up with him. Steve Malloy, junkscience.com. Don't miss him. We're talking about hydrogen economy. I'm going to let him tell you his take on a hydrogen economy. That's all after 10:30. We'll take a break. Be right back.
Every month, my family and I feel the sting of Louisiana's sky-high insurance rates. But this year, we finally saw someone stand up for us. Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple. While trial lawyers and even the governor tried to keep the old Sue Happy system in place, Tim Temple fought back, pushing for reforms to lower our insurance rates. Thanks to his courage, we're seeing progress. And I trust him to keep fighting for us. Thank you, Commissioner Tim Temple. Paid for by Lyra Inc.
Louisiana's lawsuit culture is no secret. We see it everywhere. Billboards, buses, smartphones, tablets, and TVs. In just 6 months, trial lawyers spent $21 million on advertising. Over 450,000 ads, one every 34 seconds. Lawsuits making trial lawyers rich while killing jobs and driving up costs on everything we buy. It's time for a change of scenery. We need jobs, not lawsuits. Join us. Louisiana works better when we work together.
This is Moon Griffon. You know I love a great Louisiana company, and one of those that I love is Hudco Roofing. Hudco Roofing and Exteriors is Louisiana's premier professional roofing contractor, specializing in residential roofing services. Remember, your roof protects everything, all your possessions, and most importantly, your family. And that's where Hudco Roofing comes in. These folks are not just your average roofer. They're the #1 roofing company in the state, and that's why I endorsed them. Whether you need repairs or a brand new roof, Hudco Roofing has you covered. Hudco is a CertainTeed Select shingle master and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there's no hidden damages. Hudco Roofing is also a state-certified installer of the fortified roofing system, and that's a big deal, especially during hurricane season. Anywhere in Louisiana, you can get a free roof inspection and quote from Hudco Roofing. For quality workmanship, premium products, and unparalleled customer service is Hudco Roofing. I trust Hudco Roofing of Louisiana, and so can you. HudcoRoofing.com. HudcoRoofing.com. Tell them Moon sent you.
Expression of your value.
Have you recently cut a large check to Uncle Sam? How did that feel? If you're looking for a way to reduce your tax bills next year, especially if you're paying $100,000, $500,000, even more annually, listen closely. There are strategies used by the top 1% that can significantly reduce your tax burden. There are the same little-known provisions in the tax code that ultra-wealthy individuals and even members of Congress use. At Matthew James Tax Pros in Lafayette, they specialize in helping high-income earners like business owners, physicians, attorneys, contractors, and those in the oil and gas industry keep more of what they earn. If you're tired of writing 6- or 7-figure checks to the IRS, they'll show you strategies that could cut your taxes, sometimes by half or even more. Call us today at 337-895-0TAX. That's 337-895-0829, or visit MatthewJamesTaxPros.com. Take control of your taxes. Start today to make next April a lot less painful. Every tax situation is unique, and tax savings may vary.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
You're great at protecting your personal information. You might even use things like two-factor authentication and strong passwords. But as much as you try to control how your info's protected, there are other places that also have it, and they may not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name Clay as the promo code at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Atlas Foundation Repair. 800-256-1010. Louisiana-owned Atlas Foundation Repair. 800-256-1010. Call Tony Arpino. I've known him for years. 1-800-256-1010.
Mike's hot.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline. And, of course, Talk 107.3 FM and Guarantee Broadcast and our good friends and affiliate in Baton Rouge. We're honored to have Dr. Kay Brumley for just a few more minutes. So, Dr. Brumley, I guess it's just my guess. So, your school year starts, the budget starts July 1st. Your school year starts in August. Another session in the spring. How do you manage all that? In other words, so you look at the session, what was good and positive, what you got, what you didn't get. How do you work all that for next year?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
are you already thinking about what you got to keep doing because you got to continue moving forward?
Well, I think one of the most important things for us right now is capitalizing on the alignment. You know, we have a governor that has been supportive of us in education. Mm-hmm. The legislature has generally been supportive of us. As we mentioned, a good board. We have a lot of energy in the field right now around education. We're the talk, you know. I mean, it's hard for us to appreciate because we're lifers here, but a lot of good movement. So we have to keep pressing. You know, we can be in the 30s. How do we get into the 20s? You know, for me, that's making sure every kid has access to a teacher. It's making sure we're going back to the basics, providing tutoring support, providing ed choice for families that lifts all the boats. And so we're going to stay. You know, those are our priorities. We want to be brave, back to the basics, redesign broken systems, accelerate parental rights, value the teachers, and expand ed freedom. That's what we do every day. That's what we're going to keep doing.
Do you have to fight DEI in the K through 12? Do you have to fight that in certain school areas? Where are we on DEI?
We fought DEI.
Well, I know you did, but where are we today?
We fought it for 5 years. And so the last step on that really is, so one, the governor signed an executive order banning CRT, critical race theory, in all the schools. Then following that, I had every school system in the state sign an assurance back to me that they would not implement DEI in their schools. Okay. We kind of explained out what that looks like as a condition of receiving federal money. What I said is President Trump has said we're not going to have DEI.
Did they all sign it?
100%. So
they were asking stuff in the legislature, and I thought it dealt more with universities, and once again, the Senate killed it.
Yeah, that was a university issue.
Okay, that was strictly, okay.
Right.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't putting them together. I thought that was universities, but as the Senate, again, killing something.
And I think state agencies. But look, I mean, I feel good about where we are, but at the same time, local communities have to push into their local school system. Education is local. You know, you need to be at your board meetings, asking questions, looking at student data, asking questions about spending. But we have on paper every system leader and school board president in the state of Louisiana has signed an assurance back to me that they're not going to have DEI in their school system as a condition to receive funds. And so that's about as strong as I can get.
Okay. When we deal with education, you mentioned it all being local and no argument here. Should the locals be telling y'all, hey, here's what we're doing here? Or do y'all have the power to say, no, you're not doing that there. Y'all going to do it this way? Who wins on that argument? I mean, or is that even an argument? Yeah. Or you just work together and they follow the state standards?
Well, I think it's a core conservative principle that education is local. You know, I think that the closer you can get with moms and dads and teachers working with kids, the better off. So I think the role of the state is to set expectation of these are the standards we expect kids to meet. These are the things you have to do to earn a high school diploma. If we're going to expect these things and fund these things, you've got to deliver at the local level. You hire your own teachers, you train them, you select your own curriculum, but these are the standards you have to meet. These are the expectations, and we've raised the bar on that. If you're talking federally, you know, I've been a proponent of eliminating the U.S. Department of Education for some time.
I'm 100% with you.
And so I think that there are ways that could happen over the next 3 years in terms of defanging that bureaucracy.
Well, the only thing that would change there, Dr. Brumley, would be the feds would still send money. They could block grant. Y'all do what you want with it, and you don't have to worry about some bureaucrat in Washington that don't know what's going on in South Louisiana or North Louisiana or the middle of the state.
That's what I said. And the other piece, too, Moon, to your point, is federal laws around discrimination, federal laws around dealing with students with disabilities, you know, they stay in place. States still have to, you know, adhere to those. But you get the funding and you make decisions based on Louisiana values. And what I've told the highest levels of the federal government, Moon, is if you're going to believe education is a states' rights issue, I believe it is. If one believes that, then it's going to look different in Oregon than it does in Louisiana.
Absolutely.
And we have to appreciate that.
Real quick, not a lot of time left. Did you get to visit with businesses, big business, small business, and find out what they're looking for a student coming out that they need somebody to go to work?
Yeah.
Do you get a chance? And what do they tell you?
No, that's one of my favorite things. And you would be surprised about what you hear, because so many people think that it's this, but it's really what they're telling you is make sure they can get here on time, make sure they can read and write. And if you can have some level of a credential for them, a bundle of basic credentials or some advanced credential, that's line out beyond. And so what I think we've done a really good job of is redesigning the way in which high schools are going to operate. And so we're going to meet the demands of business and industry, because I do meet with them and I do have those conversations. And it's a joy to me to be able to have those conversations and learn from them.
Wow. Well, look, it's been a pleasure. It always is. I just think that jobs and businesses, it's amazing. Somebody can read and write, do arithmetic, and willing to show up and work hard. There's nothing you can't accomplish.
And pass a drug test.
Well, I didn't want to throw that out there, but I know for a fact, I talked to businesses. One of their problems is they can't get kids to pass drug tests. And I'm talking about educated ones, too. Yep. I'm not just talking about somebody that didn't get educated. I'm talking about educated.
And it's not just kids, it's the entire workforce. So just say no.
Always a pleasure. Dr. Cade Brumley, Superintendent of Education. When we get back, Steve Malloy, don't go nowhere. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Dude, if you ever call me and say you want to go, when Henderson get right, the base is going to get right when Henderson get right. All you got to do is drive in, jump in the boat. I'll have you plenty of cold drinks or water. Wildlife Land Group is United Country office in Lafayette. United Country has been in business for over 100 years, folks. Selling land is what they do best. Timberland, farmland, hunting, recreational land, commercial land, you get it. You see ranch properties, cattle ranch, they do it all, folks. Jay Davidson is the broker licensed in Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Why don't you give him a call? 337-345-1797. That's Wildlife Land Group, 337-345-1797.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's S-E-A like the ocean, S-A-F-E.com.
Hey, folks, have you heard about Miracle 2? Oh, my God, you need to. You're getting ready to hear about it. It's a non-toxic, all-natural skincare product. Can be used for all kind of cleaning needs, such as regular soap, moisturizing soap, neutralizer, gel, lotion. These products are safe to use on people, pets, and other cleaning needs, from easy cleans to the biggest mess you know of. These products are manufactured, you ready, and distributed right here in West Monroe, Louisiana. Right here in Louisiana. We've been around in business for 45 years. Google or find out on social media to check out Miracle 2 products, or give us a call at 1-800-277-5444. Okay, let me know. That's 1-800-277-5444. Go see what our customers have to say about Miracle 2. There are tons of testimonies online of people who have used the loved Miracle 2. Miracle 2, you owe it to yourself to go check them out. 800-277-5444.
This is an urgent warning. The recent U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities have pushed us to the brink of a full-blown geopolitical crisis. Retaliation from Iran or its allies is not just possible, it's expected. And that could trigger a chain reaction across the global economy. This is no longer just politics. This is a national security threat, and your retirement could be caught in the crossfire. Every American with a 401k, IRA, or retirement account must act now. Protect your wealth with physical gold and silver today. We are Advantage Gold, the #1 rated precious metals company in America. We've helped thousands secure their wealth, and we can help you too. Call 800-900-8000 right now and request your free gold investment guide. You'll learn how to own physical gold and silver inside your retirement account tax-free and penalty-free. Don't wait. This threat is real. Call 800-900-8000 or visit AdvantageGold.com before the markets spiral out of control. That's 800-900-8000. Past performance may vary. Consult your financial or tax advisor. Call 800-900-8000.
These Acadiana businesses proudly support the broadcast of UL Raging Cajun Athletics on 103.3 and 1420 The Goat, News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Classic Rock 105.1, and Hot 107.9.
Thanks to the following sponsors:
Acadian Ambulance,
Pooh Parts Bakery,
Ernie Insurance,
Schilling Distributing,
KK's Cafe,
and Burn Nose Automotive.
Bishop Aggregates.
Please support these businesses who support the Raging Cajun game broadcast of football, men and women's basketball, baseball, and softball. Bring all the action into your home, car, smart speaker, on your phone, or wherever you work all year long. And if you'd like to hear more about becoming a UL booster, it's easy to join the winning team. Support the broadcast of UL Raging Cajun Athletics by becoming a UL broadcast booster. Contact Mary Gallion at 337-233-6000.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This is Scott Daniels. Do you love the Moon Griffon Show? Do you love the Moon Griffon Show? If your business would like to advertise on the Moon Griffon Show, then call me right now. 337-296-2987. That's 337-296-2987, and I'll get you all the info. Moon Griffon is listened to by thousands of people every day, and your business can reach them at a very affordable price. Call me right now. Scott Daniels, 337-296-2987.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
He's a great guest for y'all, too.
Mike's hot.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. What a day. Great day to be with you. Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline. We're here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Talk 107.3 FM. And we appreciate them putting up with us today. All righty. My boy, Steve Malloy. I always call him junkscience.com. He understands all this stuff about this Green New Deal. Hey, man, how you doing, Steve?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
You still living a high carbon lifestyle, too?
Definitely. Well, that's my buddy, Jason Isaac, but I do, too.
No, I know Jason's the one that I get him on periodically, but I had a feeling that you like a high carbon lifestyle just like I do.
No, absolutely.
Well, here's what I want to...
I do. Everything I do involves carbon.
Hey, everything everybody does involves carbon.
That's just true.
How do you breathe? How do you breathe?
You know, we all live a high carbon lifestyle. That's just the reality.
Yeah. Anyway, I got to ask you a few things. So they've come here and we all of a sudden a state that's been struggling with economic development, and here comes all this blue, gray hydrogen. I got a big Honda steel plant coming, $6 billion. So I start reading about this thing, and I'm kind of shaking my head because it's called a catalyst for the hydrogen ecosystem in the state. And I start shaking my head when I start reading about this. What are they talking about? What happened to just steel mills? What happened to steel plants? Now we got to have a hydrogen carbon. This could be the greatest thing since sliced bread. By the way, it's not coming to 2029. Okay, and that bothers me too. But just can you ask, what is this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a way to scam taxpayers again. I mean, they're all this hydrogen stuff, and once again, is green. And there's different ways you can make hydrogen. If you just make hydrogen from natural gas, it's called gray. If you make it with natural gas but bury the carbon dioxide, carbon capture, that's blue. And then if you just make it from solar and wind, that's green. And of course, it gets increasingly expensive as you move from gray to green. But of course, it's really inefficient to start with, because why would you use energy to make energy?
Good point.
And the technology is expensive. The infrastructure doesn't really work. Pipes that carry hydrogen become more brittle because the hydrogen is essentially corrosive. The whole thing just makes no sense. But they hope to, scam the taxpayer because there's money in it in the Inflation Reduction Act. And of course, Republicans are trying to kill off the Inflation Reduction Act, at least most Republicans. And I think a lot of this will come to a head this week.
Yeah, like not enough. I'm gonna give you some quotes out of this. So the plan ain't coming to 2029. That's 4 more years. Do you know where you're gonna be in 2029? I'm just kind of curious, because every time we hear about these plants coming 4 and 5 years up the road, they never show up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says that company officials acknowledge significant challenges now ahead, including high cost of hydrogen production and uncertainty around future federal tax incentives. If this was so great, and this was the greatest thing since sliced bread, they shouldn't worry about none of that. They ought to move it forward because it's economic development, and they call it that too.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're trying to get Bill Cassidy, I guess, to make sure that whatever subsidies they have there stay in the big beautiful bill. And you can, as those subsidies go, that plant's not going to be built. But then, that's fine, because why should taxpayers pay for that?
Sure. By the way, they said that until we get prices down, a smart investor or business person can't make some of these investments. Really? That's where the free tax money comes from. A smart, it's saying now, listen, a smart investor or business person, nobody would be investing this, Steve. Not one person without federal tax.
No,
that bothers me.
Yeah. No, look, if there's a market for the steel, just build a regular steel plant. No one is going to be changing the weather or the climate, the planet, because of how you make steel. No one in the world makes green steel. It just doesn't make any sense. It just makes more expensive steel. In the UK, where they've tried to make green steel, they're getting rid of it. It's just too expensive.
Yeah, people get mad when I say this in Louisiana. That damn moon. I'm not predicting it don't come, but I'm predicting it don't come. The costs, incentives, everything else. And this is what I don't understand about all this stuff. If it's so good and it's economic development and they make money, somebody, the guy just said it, smart business people, smart investors would invest. How come they're not investing without all this free money? Because they're smart. They're smart.
Yeah. No, we all need to really jack up our self-respect. We're supposed to be a free market, private enterprise, capitalistic country, not this country where the government pays for everything. That's socialism. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Yet of course, there are people that don't care as long as they get the money, and unfortunately, there's too many of those people in our government and in our business.
By the way, Steve, it's not just government. It's down here, and boy, we got good people. We really do. I mean, some of the best people in the world live right here. But it's amazing, all of them, and I hear this all the time. Well, the federal government's somebody's going to take that money. We may as well get it. And that's the worst attitude in the world. Yeah, this is what I hear all the time.
Last week, it hit $37 trillion o'clock, meaning that our national debt is $37 trillion.
Yep.
We're paying way more than $1 trillion in interest, like a credit card payment, every year. We can't afford it. We're not going bankrupt. We are bankrupt, because if the government had to pay that $37 trillion, it really couldn't do it without printing money and destroying the currency and the economy. So, we all just need to shape up about this kind of stuff and be a lot smarter and start pressing our politicians for, more from Uncle Sugar.
Hey, it's amazing. Steve Malloy, junksize.com. Steve, and I like putting your website because I want people to go study and learn like I have from your website. I was reading this, that hydrogen, they want to make Louisiana, okay? They're building a statewide hydrogen ecosystem. Now, I got to tell you, what the heck is that? What is a statewide hydrogen ecosystem, and will it take your tax dollars for us to keep this going? I want to know. What is that?
Well, so they've already tried this in California, and it's been a fail. I mean, they tried to have hydrogen sort of gas stations, if you will, fueling stations for cars. It's been a fail. It doesn't work anywhere. It's not going to work in Louisiana.
No,
of course, they do want to try it. They do want to try making blue hydrogen with the carbon capture, so they get the double subsidy. We're being ripped off. It's as you said. If these things made sense, they would be done on their own, but they don't. So, I mean, if you need the subsidies for the steel plant, then you must not need the steel.
By the way, it's amazing. Not only did it get fit, now you're going to love this. I say you're going to love this. You might blow me out the water. Honda emphasized this was a meeting in the legislature, the role of state-level economic incentives, like Louisiana's industrial tax exemption program, quality jobs program, in attracting and accelerating clean energy investments. So not only are we using federal tax dollars, which is yours and mine, we're using state. So if this is so good, how come they got to have so much money from the federal, so much money from the state, probably local too, to make something happen that's supposed to be so great?
I'm looking here. Apparently, there's only one green hydrogen facility in the U.S. It's somewhere in New York. It costs $290 million to create 68 jobs.
Oh my God!
And they create 15 tons of green hydrogen daily, which is like nothing.
By the way,
that works out to about $4.2 million per job to do nothing.
That's what I don't, because they don't produce anything. Honda, here's my favorite line: detailed 5-level roadmap for decarbonizing steel production. The company's long-term goal is to produce green steel using hydrogen sources from renewable energy. I'm just telling you, we've lost our minds here. I lost it.
we have totally lost our minds. Moon, there was a study that I put this on my X feed that came out last week. We have completely missed the boat on this whole climate thing. We really, there's so much carbon that just comes out of the earth, has nothing to do with energy emissions. I mean, first off, I don't think emissions have anything to do with weather, climate, anything like that. But we don't even really understand the carbon cycle very well. And here we are just wasting money on these ridiculous carbon capture, green, blue, hydrogen, wind, solar, batteries, EVs. It's just all crap.
Nuts. Anyway, let me take a break. I want to come back. I do have a little bit more to add from this article. It's bad. But I'm supposed to clap. Yeah, economic development. I'm supposed to be clapping, Steve. Yeah. Let me take a break. Yeah. I'll be back. Steve Malloy, my good friend, and, of course, does a great job. We'll take a break. Be right back.
At Service Chevrolet Cadillac, we're turning up the heat. Summer savings are in effect, and that means hot prices on top models. Take $10,000 off the MSRP on all new 2025 Silverado 1500s in stock. Plus, you can take $12,500 off the MSRP with trade assistance. That's $12,500 off all new 2025 Silverado 1500s in stock. Hurry and take advantage of big summer savings while they last. At Acadiana's #1 Chevrolet dealership, our family serving your family. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, your super Chevy dealer. 1212 Ambassador Caffrey near I-10. Stop by or log on at servicegm.com. Chevy, together let's drive. Dealer discount $5,500, GM rebate $4,250, trade assistance $2,250. In stock units plus tax, title, licensing fees. Trade assistance must be 2011 or newer. Excludes 6.2 and 3.0 engine and work truck package. Must finance through GMF A+ or AL tier. $1,000 rebate. Offers expire 6/30/25. Claims based on current GM data.
With 5 Louisiana locations, I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill when I'm traveling in the great state of Louisiana. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. Their menu has all your favorites: nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, fajitas, hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You can go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport. Government Street, and Highland Road in Baton Rouge, St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans, and on College Saloon in Lafayette. I'm talking great food, great service, and great margaritas. The best Mexican food with the Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill, Shreveport on Line Avenue, Baton Rouge on Government Street, and Highland Road, New Orleans on St. Charles Avenue, and College Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I'll see you at Superior Grill.
Everywhere you turn, people are advertising gold and silver coins and bullion. Problem is, it can take weeks to get your stuff, if it arrives at all, and you have to pay outrageous shipping charges along with jacked up prices. The solution? Go see Louis Pizzolatto at Coin and Treasure, 2472 West Congress, and get your gold and silver locally with less cost to you, and you'll leave with the product in your hand today, right now. Coin and Treasure, 2472 West Congress, where they buy and sell gold and silver every day.
Shreveport's Comic-Con is celebrating its 10th anniversary.
And by the way,
GeeksCon 2025, presented by Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers, is back at the Shreveport Convention Center August 22nd through the 24th. This year's GeeksCon guest lineup includes a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 35th anniversary celebration with 4 of the original Turtle actors from the 1990 movie, along with the stars from My Name is Earl, Jason Lee, and Ethan Suplee. A charmed cast reunion with Rose McGowan and Holly Marie Combs, WWE Hall of Famer Scott Steiner, Disney's official voice of Mickey Mouse, Brett Iwan. Celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, star Barry Bostwick. Sons of Anarchy star Theo Rossi, along with comic book artists from Marvel, DC, and Image Comics. Find the complete lineup, get all your news updates, and ticket details at geekscon.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Mike's hot.
Hi, hello, welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. And, of course, we're in Baton Rouge today, Talk 107.3 FM, my good friend. I want to thank the station. John, thank y'all for everything, for helping us out to get this done today. And, of course, Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline. On that hotline, we have my good friend. I call him a good friend. I never personally met the man, but I feel like I talk to you more than, not as much as my wife, Steve, but as much as most people that I know.
We are brothers from another mother.
Hey, one last thing on this, because I got a couple other factors. So here's the roadmap. You ready? Here's the roadmap. Honda plans to launch an operation using blue hydrogen, which involves capturing the storing of CO2 emissions for hydrogen made via natural gas. The intermediate step would later transition to green hydrogen, which produces virtually no emissions when powered by renewables or biomass. So green, I saw gray in here somewhere as well. So what the hell does that mean? What does it do? What does it produce? How's my life better? Does our utility bills going down? Can you answer any of that for us?
No, it's more expensive. Look, it has not worked any place in the world. There's no place that has a successful commercial green, blue, gray hydrogen. I mean, even the gray hydrogen doesn't really make any sense. You know, why would you spend more money than you need to produce, to transform one form of energy into another, natural gas into hydrogen? There's nothing to be gained. The emissions don't matter. The cost is more. No one's getting anything out of it. Normal people wouldn't do this.
By the way, you just I just caught something you said. So we're taking one gas, one level of energy to create another one. That's by the far. You said that, and it really hit me. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. At least dumbest thing I heard today. Why would you do this? Yeah, but now I learned something else. I know why Louisiana, they dump everything bad in Louisiana. That's why they came here. They came and said, man, Louisiana buying any of this crap. They'll just tell everybody it's economic development. And they have.
Yeah, no, well, people get blinded by that. All you have to do is say economic development, and then all of a sudden people lose their minds and, don't care. Well, of course, the type of economic development matters. I mean, you want economic development that there's a demand for, that's genuine, that's sort of permanent, right? But this stuff, it just doesn't work. No one would do this. I mean, if you need a steel plant, then you need the steel, just make it, and whatever the emissions are, who cares? But this, trying to make it with white gloves. Oh, we're just going to use windmills and hydrogen, and it's like a Rube Goldberg contraption.
By the way, I'm making fun of my state, but I'm making fun of me too. So years ago, just a long time ago, we could never fund our universities at the southern level. We always fell short. We didn't have enough money. This is true what I'm telling you now. You're going to laugh, but it's true. So if you don't have enough money to fund it, you know what we did? We started another university.
Well, there you go.
You're laughing, but I went nuts when they did this. This was a long time early in my career, and I'm going, hold up, explain this to me. We don't have enough to fund universities. The answer is, it'd be like going, I can't pay my 5 car notes. And the answer is to go buy a new F-150. A new Silverado. That's it. A new Silverado. Can't pay for the 5? I go get a new one.
No, all this green stuff has degraded our culture. I mean, we forgot how to make money. We don't know what's useful anymore. We just do stuff because it's politically correct. And unfortunately, it's true. It's not just Louisiana. It's true all over the country. Red politicians have fallen for this, and I mean, we're watching it right now. No Republican voted for the Green New Scam, but now a lot of them want to keep it now that President Trump can roll it back. I don't know what to say. God bless you for doing what you do and letting people know that this is all a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah. By the way, that was one of my last questions I want to bring up. President Trump. He released a statement the other day about this Green New Scam. I did notice that, and I was tickled to death. The only thing I was a little upset about was I noticed people in this administration with energy and stuff like that are saying, no, keep carbon capture. And basically, I hadn't seen him run carbon capture out, and I really, really want to see him do that. So where do you think we stand on that? And does the big, beautiful bill gut any more of this craziness?
Yeah. Well, the House bill includes the carbon capture. They couldn't get rid of it because the oil industry is, of course, pretty powerful, pretty influential lobbyists. My sense is that President Trump is against it because it's just, Green New Scam stuff. But, it's politics, so you got to compromise someplace. I'm against it. I think it's shameful that oil companies, oil production is very profitable. Very profitable. They don't need nickels and dimes from tax. It's nickels and dimes for them, but it's $80 billion in the Green New Scam. It's a lot of money. Yeah. We can't afford it. As I mentioned earlier, it's $37 trillion o'clock. We can't be wasting money on this kind of stuff.
Steve, I guess my biggest disappointment in all this is, and I think you're gonna be right there with me, is I got a lot of friends in the oil and gas industry, love it. I got a lot of friends, chemical plants, businesses, and I love when businesses do well. But it's the business community, oil and gas included, that have been the most disappointing to me from hugging it and calling it an economic issue when it shouldn't be. It's a scam, and they've given into it. And that, to me, is my biggest frustration with this whole thing. I understand politicians. Okay, I understand them giving in and twisting things and turning things around because that's what they do. But I don't understand the business community selling this to people as this being factual and true. We need blue, green, yellow, pink. We might even have purple hydrogen, as far as I know.
Yeah, no, look, it's a cultural problem we have. It's just stealing money. They perceive money as available, and if they can get it, well, they'll take it. And no matter how small it is, they still want it. They don't understand that it's wrecking our culture, it's wrecking our country. It's just corruption. But if it's free money, they can get it. They'll take it.
Well, the other attitude I can't stand is some of my own people. Somebody's gonna take the money. We may as well take it. I just cringe on that. I go, but somebody going down the road laughing at me. You dang right, I'm gonna take it. I don't care how stupid you are not to take it. Well, it ain't been offered to me, but I don't want it. But that attitude is not the attitude to change this country. It's just not.
Yeah, and they got lobbyists in D.C. You know, they're making a pile of money. You know, I mean, Shakespeare had it wrong. First thing, we get rid of all the lawyers. We need to get rid of all the lobbyists.
Yeah, but I was getting ready to tell you that between the lobbyists and the big-time trial attorneys, especially the ones that advertise here, they're causing havoc on everything. They smiling all the way to the bank. Then they get involved in buying bicycles for kids and then making monuments to themselves with stadiums and everything else.
You tell me what a lawyer does that's worth $1,000 or $2,000 an hour.
I think the lawyers in our state, some of these TV trial lawyers ought to have to pay you to pay you to work for you. It's gotten so bad here with the TV lawyers, man. They just we got a culture, a suit culture here, and it's on TV every night. Sue, sue, sue! I'll make you rich.
Yeah. I'm a lawyer. I'm embarrassed. It's just is this why people went into the law to rip people off? Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Steve, you're the best, brother, and I mean that. Thank you so much.
All right.
And God bless. If I can ever help you, let me know.
I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Steve Malloy, junkscience.com. All right, that wraps up this. I want to thank John and our friends at Guarantee Broadcasting Talk 107.3 FM. Great job. Walk, thanks for taking care of business back home, back in the studio tomorrow. God bless. Have a great day. Love having you on. I got another one. Isaac.